So Watches and Wonders 2023 is almost upon us, and you can almost feel the anticipation building. It's the main event for a lot of the big watch brands, and it's that time of year when we get to see all of the big new releases. Now I'm going to give you my thoughts on what we might expect to see, but I also reached out to some friends of the channel and asked them to give me their predictions too. Some of these guys, I think you might just recognise. So if you're new to the channel, my name's Simon and I like to talk about watches. And if you like watches too, then hit that subscribe button and go back and check out some of my other videos. Getting straight to the point, I'm going to tell you what new releases I think we might see at Watches and Wonders from TUDOR, TAG Heuer, and of course Rolex. Now starting with the 5-pointed crown, I think 2023 is going to be all about materials. This year marks some big anniversaries for both the Submariner and the Daytona, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if we get to see new versions of both in some precious metals, perhaps even a platinum Submariner. But Rolex has also been recently teasing us with titanium, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a titanium Sea Dweller. Now if I'm not mistaken, the Sea Dweller 43 has been with us since 2017, so that model is definitely due an overhaul. My money's on a Sea Dweller 43 in ROLEX titanium, as Rolex calls it. I think that would be pretty cool and much more wearable than that stupid 50mm deep sea challenge thing that was released last year. Now moving on to sister brand TUDOR, and in my last video I really pinned my colours to the mast by saying that I think we're about to get a Polar Dial Black Bay Pro. And judging by the comments, I'd say that I'm not the only one who is really hoping for that. But with the Pelagos 39 being such a big hit for TUDOR last year, I think we could see more versions of that, but with colours. I think there'll be a blue one, which would be the obvious choice, but I also think we could see a green dial to rival Omega's green dial Seamaster. I also wouldn't be surprised to see an overhaul of the Black Bay line, with that new crown that they used on the Black Bay Pro and on the Pelagos 39, and I think that bracelet versions may well gain that T-fit clasp and lose the faux rivets that have been so divisive. We might even see a slimmer case, or at least more bevels and chamfers to smooth off those slab sides. TAG Heuer has recently been investing heavily in its Aqua Racer line of divers, and doing some great things. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see some more derivatives and colourways, and I think we could see some more solar models too. But recently they also teased us with a new and ultra-modern version of the Monza, a flyback chronograph with a forged carbon case. And I'm really hoping this signals a return for the Monza line, and I'm keeping my fingers and toes and everything else crossed for that. So those are some of my thoughts, but I also asked some of the guys to give me their predictions too. First up, it's my main man from down under, Andrew McUtchen from Time and Tide and About Effing Time. So what are your predictions, Andrew?
I predict that Adrian will, like a heat-seeking missile, find all the most boring releases and shower them with praise. I predict that George Bamford will have a favourable word or two to say about TAG Heuer, and I predict that Time and Tide will have the most insightful and colourful commentary on all the releases at Watches and Wonders. So get on Time and Tide. Watch About Effing Time. See ya!
So Andrew obviously doesn't give a 4x about upsetting his fellow hosts, but what have you got to say about that, Adrian?
For Watches and Wonders 2023, I think we're going to see, well firstly, I think we're going to see Andrew waxing lyrical about whichever watch brand is paying him to do so, because he's a sellout like that. But I actually think we're going to see more precious metal watches and more watches on straps. So about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, watch brands were focusing on value. They want to say, look how much watch you're getting for the money. And then a couple of years ago, the focus was in-house. Look what we've done in-house, look what we've developed. Now, I think watch brands are going to focus on profitability. They can charge a lot more, a disproportionate amount more when a watch has precious metal compared to the steel version. And when it's on a strap, again, the value difference for the brand is huge. The retail difference for us, the retail price difference, really isn't much between a strap and a bracelet. That's making a lot more profit for the watch brands. And as I own a strap company, I'm all behind that trend. What do you guys think?
Did anyone else know that Adrian sold straps? That's news to me. So we've heard from two of the three guys from About Effing Time. Now let's hear from someone who I recently had the chance to spend some time with. It's Mr. George Bamford.
Watches and Wonders predictions. A steel 222 Vacheron. I think that is going to be something that has to come out. I mean, they've done it in gold, so they have to do it in steel. I think Jaeger-LeCoultre is going to be looking at the Futurematic and something along those lines. Maybe a vintage Jaeger-LeCoultre Mamavox reinterpretation, because I loved what they did with vintage. Then also, I'd want something from Patek to do advanced research on the brand new 5811. I think that would be quite a cool thing, and I think it would be a real knockout blow. Then Zenith Espada with the gold bracelet. I think if I was looking at something from Zenith, I would love to have that. Or one of their dive watches, the Lemon. Oh my God, if the Lemon could come out, that would be absolutely amazing. The other prediction is About Effing Time is going to be at Watches and Wonders, and we're going to have a blast. And maybe we may have a few little badges to give out. Anyway, thank you very much for asking my predictions. Let's rock and roll. Watches and Wonders 2023.
Now, you might not recognise the next two guys, but if you listen to the A Blog to Watch weekly podcast, you'll certainly know their voices. It's the two R's, Rick and Ripley from A Blog to Watch.
Welcome viewers of Escapement 24, thank you Simon for the invitation. My name's Rick from the A Blog to Watch weekly podcast. Here's some predictions from the glorious Scottish countryside. It is freezing but lovely. There you go, there's a quick 360 of everything that's going on. Eels of Craig somewhere in the background there for those that know it. Here's some predictions for Watches and Wonders 2023. It's going to be anniversary time. We're going to have anniversaries from everybody. We're going to have them from Rolex, we're going to have them from TAG, we're going to have them from Panerai. It's going to be a show full of different materials. Expect platinum, expect titanium, expect yellow gold, and expect all sorts of sapphire to feature in this year's show. But this year's show is not just about everything at PAL Expo, there's also everything going on in Geneva at the same time. There's hotels full of watch brands, other venues full of even more watch brands, and lots of entertainment. So if you don't get into the main show, you don't fancy spending money at the weekend, you can just come to Geneva, get yourself on a plane, come to Geneva and enjoy everything that's going to be going on in the city. Brands that I think are going to be the ones that make a real show of it this year, I would be looking out for Parmigiani and Chopard. I think that's where the fun and games are going to be this year. I think everything else, I'm sure there'll be delightful things from Rolex that everyone will go insane about, but I would be making a beeline for the Parmigiani and Chopard areas of the show. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sure Simon will be very grateful you watched this video, and I'd be very grateful if you tuned in to the podcast A Blog to Watch weekly every week on a Thursday. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, Ripley Sellers with A Blog to Watch. Now when it comes to my hopes and predictions for Watches and Wonders Geneva 2023, let's start with Rolex. 70th anniversary of the sub, 60th anniversary of the Daytona. I'm not sure Rolex is actually going to acknowledge either of those anniversaries, but what I'd really love to see is a new Milgauss or a new Yachtmaster 2. It's been years since we've seen an update there, and I think a new model to either of those collections would be really interesting. As far as Patek, I don't think it's going to be a big year for the Aquanaut or the Nautilus. Maybe it'll be a big year for the Calatrava, and we'll see some new models, maybe some stainless steel ones, but I don't see it being a big year for their sports watches. Now, as far as Tudor, my money's on new stainless steel versions of the non-diver Black Bay that have the in-house movement. Tudor already did it with the S&G models last year, and now I could see the stainless steel models following in their footsteps. Beyond that, maybe something new in titanium, maybe a blue 39, and new titanium watches is going to be a trend we see throughout the whole industry. A lot of brands have been experimenting with the metal in recent years, and I can completely see that rolling over into 2023 at nearly all price points.
Thanks, guys. Now, finally, let's hear from the man with the hands himself, Mr. Andrew Morgan from Watchfinder and Andrew Morgan Watches.
For Watches and Wonders 2023, this year, I think we're going to see a lot more gold. And I don't just mean white gold and rose gold, I think specifically yellow gold. I think we're coming to a bit of an end of the 70s trend that we've been following for a while with the likes of the Royal Oak and the Nautilus, and moving more into the 80s where we saw a lot more yellow gold cases and bracelets. A real tell for that is the Cartier Tank Francais re-release that we saw recently. That was released in steel and yellow gold only, no white or rose gold. I wonder if we'll also see slightly smaller watches as well, moving away from the larger case size, and I wonder if Rolex might experiment a bit more with titanium as well.
I'd like to give huge thanks to all the guys for coming on the channel and giving us their predictions. But I'd also love to know what you think Watches and Wonders might bring, and what new releases you'd really love to see. So let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, then please hit the thumbs up button. And guys, I'll see you on the next one.